Hello, greetings. It has been so incredibly long since I've made a YouTube video, and it's been like 2 years. So I'm really grateful to anyone that has followed me. I kind of given up on having a YouTube channel, to be honest. Uh, I think a lot of people can probably relate to the math and how, in order to actually get monetized or something, you have to have like 1,000 times more followers than I do. But I'm making this not because I want to pursue that goal of a YouTube channel, just for general interaction. That's really what I want. So in the last couple of years, I'm not one to make excuses, but I moved, total studio switch, and I was really fortunate to have kind of an unending stream of open commissions that I'm currently working on right now. And I guess I've kind of felt like putting extra time into making a YouTube channel just, it takes time away from my actual working process. And so it has not been a priority, but I really want to do it at the same time. I really enjoy interacting with people. And one of the disadvantages of having so much artwork to do is that it can be very reclusive. And I feel like a secret, a secret person existing in a field which is not supposed to be a secret. I mean, visual arts, I think a lot of visual artists are usually more introverted and they need their work to get out there, but at the same time, they don't want to do it. And I'm kind of in between. I mean, I used to be the lead singer in a rock band, and I would do all sorts of crazy antics on stage. And so that extroverted part of me definitely exists. That's for sure. And it needs to be exercised sometimes, but I definitely enjoy my alone time as well. I'm pretty comfortable being alone for long periods of time, but there's a limit. So this entire video and everything I've done, if I get to do any more videos upcoming again, is totally based and fueled by interaction. So if you have anything, even just saying hi in the comments would make my day. So please feel free to do so. So what you see on the screen is footage that I had sitting in my computer, pretty much a totally edited video that has been ready to go for quite some time. 2 years approximately. So it's a painting that I've put up online a while ago. I've got prints available. It's called The Mood Collector, and it's kind of old news to me at this point, but I feel really good about it. I still really like it. And so I collected all of this footage while I was painting it and intended to make a video out of it for a really long time. And then, of course, as you know, if you follow my channel, I haven't put out a video for, so incredibly long. So since I moved, I just haven't, I don't know, it's just something about the setup and not really officially getting set up. In fact, I'm actually not set up right now. Maybe I'll post a picture of this so you can see how I actually look while I'm recording this. So I'm working on a painting while I record the audio for this. So I'm not actually really looking at the screen and trying to narrate what's in front of you. And that's okay. I think it's the only way that this is going to happen right now. What else can I say? Later on in this video, there will be some narrated parts that are jumping back like 2 years to when I actually made the video. So what I'm saying right now is temporary, and then it's going to go off to some of the other stuff that was said before, and that's fine. I just have to let it take place so that it's actually relevant to what you're seeing, to explain some of the thought processes that I had going through that painting, some critiques about the composition and whatnot. One of the other things I wanted to speak about in that general subject matter is just how excited I am about this genre of painting. And the reason I'm so excited about it is because, well, obviously you know that I've put a lot of hours into this for a long time now, so I must be excited about it. I must have been excited about it for a long time. But I found that, I don't know if you can relate to this. If anyone has any experience with this, please let me know. But the general public still doesn't really seem to know that this type of painting exists. I mean, by general public, I mean, everybody, people that don't follow art, people that would follow other things. I still find, even, to be honest, like art students and people that are interested in painting and whatnot are still really unfamiliar with the world out there that exists around imaginative realism. And I'm so excited about this genre because I think that it really encompasses all of that which we love about art. In the title itself, imaginative, I think that's obviously one of the most important things about visual art, is that it's part of the artist's soul, part of their internal workings of the artist's mind. And I think that's critical to me anyways, in terms of what I really love about artwork, is that it's something that I could not have seen. It's not just a copy of a photograph that already exists. There's all of the imaginative work that goes into it. And if you do this kind of work, you know that that's extremely difficult. That's not easy to bring about something that doesn't exist. Of course, we have photographs that we can use, but they're generally just a guide. We always have to change things, and there's these little sort of ideal sections that we have to figure out how to bring into being and improve, and to make them work in the composition better. And it's endless number of challenges when working in artwork that doesn't have a direct photo reference. The other one, of course, is being that it is representational and there's subject matter that anyone can see. That is a big part of it as well. The narrative elements, the philosophical elements. What is the painting about? What kind of conversations does it elicit? So that right there is an endless scope that we can all entertain and speak about and play with. So I think everything that philosophy has, everything that conceptual art has, imaginative realism potentially has as well. The other aspect, of course, is the technical element, painting in a way that takes clearly to the general public as well. It takes a lot of time, takes many years to master and to get comfortable with, and yet at that point, nothing is ever mastered. There's always more to learn. There's always room to grow. And so it's kind of combining all of those things into one that, to me, make it the ultimate art form in terms of painting, in terms of visual. So that's why I'm so excited about it. There was a question that I had posed. I think actually, hold on. There's probably some parts in the video now where I'm actually speaking, so I'll probably just go to that, because I think what I was going to say was just a bunch of rambling anyways. I'll have more thoughts about those things later, but I'll let the video speak for itself. And thank you for watching. If this works out, I'm going to try to post more. And again, remember that everything that fuels this is interaction. The more communication and conversations that get started in the comment section and whatnot, the more it makes me want to make more videos. So thank you for listening. And this is going back 2 years now to my off the cuff, on the spot critiques. Okay, false alarm. So as I was editing this, I went back and tried to listen to some of that, and then I realized that there is still more space, so I'm going to try to sum up this idea quickly. This is something I actually posed on Stephen Bowman's YouTube channel. It was a question, and I think it was a video he was talking about painterly abstraction, and something also that I've seen Mark Carter on Draw Mix Paint. I've seen him talk about this as well. It's this idea of like painting loose, painting ugly, not painting exactly what you see, trying to make it distorted and so that it looks more like paint, and rather than like trying to copy a photograph in perfect detail. And I posed the question that, what if you're trying to paint something no one's ever seen before? So for example, I haven't done this, but it's just a really good example to think about, the way that in a lot of traditional, like contemporary practices, if you're painting like hair, instead of painting every single little hair like the Northern European Flemish painters did, you just be more like Sargent and make everything some sort of a vague abstraction. And so I was like, okay, what if I can What if I was painting something where I was maybe painting like a AI robot or something, or cyborg, and the hair was supposed to be wires, and so in order to do that, to make the viewer understand that that detail was something they'd never seen before or didn't understand clearly, I'd have to paint it in detail in order for them to understand it. And I think in that video he actually replied, which I'm grateful for, and he said he'd never thought about that before. So I think that's a really relevant thing to think about in support of the genre of imaginative realism. The reason that so many things have to be painted in such detail is because you need to be able to communicate with the viewer that this is a particular thing that the painter has invented. And that's another reason I think this genre is so exciting to me and has so much value that the general public needs to understand in order to gain more appreciation for this kind of painting. So all of the little worlds in this piece that, in these drips that have like a little scene within them, there's just no way to paint that loosely because you wouldn't be able to see it. It takes tiny, small brush detail, and that's kind of the only way you can do it. What else to say? There is definitely now narration, so I'm going to cut myself off. I could speak about that idea for longer, but I'll just leave it for the future and let my previous self from 2 years ago speak about this composition. Thanks again for listening. But I am going to put a little bit more. Another thing I just finished doing was putting a bit more light up here and then increasing the dark on the back of this. I couldn't judge it really from where it was. I mean, I changed it on the value scale like probably half a step, so that's one of these steps, which isn't a big difference, but it is actually. It makes a lot of difference just making it that little bit darker, because it takes focus away from this area, and I find that for this composition, I don't need to have any extra focus down there. If there's more contrast right there, by this part being lighter, then it doesn't do the composition any favors. Making this part a little bit lighter as well kind of helps it fit into the light area. So I'm kind of always thinking of like a really general blur, even though there's a lot of extra details. So an example of what I will do is just taking some cadmium yellow extra deep, for example, and seeing what it looks like if I can fit it into a couple of areas. I'm just kind of looking for where it will already blend in on the value scale. So let's see, for example, I don't even know if that's on camera. I'll try to find a place that's on camera. If I place it there, it's already blending in with the value, which is where you want to be able to put more saturated color. If I put this over top of the light area, this cadmium yellow cadmium yellow extra deep is actually darker than this area, but it's way lighter than this area. So if I just find the right place in the value scale of this object, then I can put any extra color. So that's something you could do at any time. That's the idea of like painting a sky blue, for example, but not actually keeping it all blue. You could have like 6 different blues. You could even have purple or green in the sky that kind of still looks mostly blue, as long as those colors are of exactly the same value of that area. You can kind of fit everything in there, and then it's just a game of ratios, and it's a game of optical mixing. The farther you are away from something, you won't even see this probably from this camera view, but my face, from where I can see, is a little bit closer in the camera, so I can totally see this. It's quite prominent. And then when I back up even further than the camera, I'm about 5 feet away. I just barely see it. So that's another thing to take into consideration.